Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you well from wherever to this channel. Now, have you ever asked yourself why Saitoti used to fly his cats with him during diplomatic trips? Have you ever asked yourself why? Now, we are told that back in the days, there was a threat on Saitoti's life. Someone attempted to poison Saitoti back in February 1990. So there's an explosive story here about that issue. That happened shortly after the assassination of Foreign Affairs Minister Robert Oko. And Saitoti was then allegedly served poisoned food at a restaurant where he frequented in MUTHAIGA. Now, this is coming up, this story. I chose to bring this story at this right moment whereby everybody seems to be talking about ORENGO poisoning. You know, people are talking about ORENGO poisoning. But ORENGO came out publicly and delivered a statement. I've not shared the statement, but I will share the statement in this analysis, ladies and gentlemen. So Saitoti in February 1990 at a restaurant in MUTHAIGA, there was an attempt on his life, you know, and that was just after Robert Oko. So why and who could have been targeting Saitoti? Now, before I explore this story further, because it is coming up at a time whereby ORENGO has allegedly faced almost the same predicament. So before we explore this story further, ladies and gentlemen, kindly like this video, subscribe to our channel, and thank you so much for all of you being supporting this channel by liking and subscribing and also commenting. Thank you so much. When this incident occurred, the former president, Daniel Arap Moi, turned up for a roadside function outside GPO on Kenyatta Avenue. And in the middle of lambasting his critics, he hinted at what had happened to Saitoti. And this is what he said: the same people who killed Oko are the same ones who poisoned my vice president, Saitoti. That is what Moi said. Close aides to the late Saitoti disclosed to the Standard that the former vice president was never the same again as he slipped into chronic paranoia, opting to never trust anyone with his meals ever again. It was at that point that Saitoti started using servants to test his meals before turning to cats and dogs after a close friend enlightened him on the existence of servants who would be willing to die for the right amount of money. Once he took up that peculiar routine of having his pets taste his food, the animals never left his side regardless of whether he was attending a meeting in Nairobi, Mombasa, or London. A former senior official in the MOI administration revealed that Saitoti's pets were cleared to travel with his security team during his foreign trips. So on his part, the late vice president simply stated that he couldn't take a chance with his life ever again. But Professor Saitoti died in a tragic plane crash on June 10, 2012, alongside his longtime bodyguard, Inspector Joseph Tonkei, and his assistant minister, Orwa Ojode.
Saitoti died in a tragic helicopter crash Sunday morning, together with his assistant minister, Orwa Ojode, who will...
So that is how Saitoti was cautious about his life after the poisoning incident in 1990 February. So back to ORENGO. Now, story that is coming out that was shared by none other than Maverick Oko. Maverick talked about cyanide. Now, cyanide is a toxic poison which is fast acting, and according to research, we're told that it's an acute poison, not a slow or chronic one. if someone ingests a small portion, it causes death pole pole. That is what we were told by Maverick Oko. But someone else said in his response that cyanide causes death, and as such, Orengo could have died if at all he had consumed cyanide. So the big question to you, ladies and gentlemen, do you think this issue of poison ni ukweli, or it's some people creating some story to try to cause tension? I've seen what people have reacted below in the comment section, various stories. People are saying that this is just another person creating a story similar to what happened to Professor, the Deputy President, Kithure Kindiki, when there was an allegation that he was slapped in State House by Farouk Kibet. But then that appeared to be a story that was created to give Kithure Kindiki publicity. Then Kithure Kindiki surfaced in Embu and disowned all those rumors. Are we seeing a scenario where Orengo is being, the same people are using such kind of tactics on Orengo about food poisoning, na hakuna poison? Because if at all Orengo has consumed cyanide, like exposed by Maverick Oko, maybe Orengo saizi angekuwa watu wanapanga mikakati ya mazishi, atazikwa lini, state funeral, you know, that would have been the case. But cyanide wasn't put in alcohol, according to certain person who reacted to that story. There is no way cyanide could have been put in Orengo's alcohol to make him, you know, probably to poison him. Because if he had consumed it, angekuwa saizi in past tense. But again, if you look at this story further, we are told that these things happened the moment Orengo alitoka State House. But me, if I look at this matter again, when Orengo alipotoka State House, people started talking about Orengo State House, Orengo State House. There was a need for Orengo to kujificha kidogo, because otherwise angekuwa anapata public embarrassment kwa sababu lead delegation to State House after having some very firm stance. So because Orengo is a politician, I suspect he could have intentionally decided to kuwa low-key kidogo, low-key. Gen Z's use the word low-key, alikuwa low-key, alikuwa chini ya maji. So Orengo could have been chini ya maji to try to make sure that hii story potee, alafu ikuja na mambo poison, alafu ajitokeze, ajitetee, alafu iishe story. So musahau ile mambo ya State House. I suspect that was the case, ladies and gentlemen. But just go below in the comment section and tell us what you think about this story. Perhaps if you watched this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until we catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.